Building a SIM dashboard is one of the most unique soft skills and will make you the top 1% security analyst eventually. Welcome to Splunk Dashboard Crash Course. You will learn to build three practical dashboards that every security analyst should master. We will start with Splunk dashboard for SSH monitoring. Then we will learn to build the dashboard for web traffic, web applications, and at the end, we will learn to create the custom dashboard for Cloudflare web application firewall logs monitoring. By the end, you will gain hands-on skills to build and customize the dashboard that showcase your SOC and Splunk expertise. Right? If you want me to keep coming up with the similar types of videos, then please subscribe the channel. This will help the algorithm and me as well. Let's begin. What is a Splunk dashboard? It's an art of converting a raw data into a visualizing story. When you see something in the dashboard, or maybe a SOC analyst or a security analyst sees something in the dashboard, it gives them a clear cut idea if something malicious happening in the network or not. Based on that, they can perform the incident response or maybe do the investigation in detail, right? Why dashboard matters in security? To be very honest, it's very important because this gives them a real-time visibility into different traffic like SSH, web traffic, or web application firewall traffic. Um, I mean, it's also widely used for security compliances like PCI DSS, ISO 27000 compliance. Are we following to all those requirements? Is there any unauthorized changes happen in the network? Who is sending more traffic in the network? Or maybe firewall logs, right? So is there any specific traffic or huge amount of traffic going and coming back and forth from a specific IP address? So this really helps from security point of view. You understand, identify any anomalies in the network, suspicious traffic. It helps in the incident response. It's quite useful for SOC analyst, security engineer, and entire blue team roles, right? Now, let's talk about some of the key component. First is the panel. Panel is very useful because this is the way you can add some, unique value like total number of requests, total number of failure, total number of, block requests and everything. And there are many more options. We have events, live charts, line charts, sorry, bar charts, pie charts, and everything. Next, data sources. We can have data sources directly from the query. We can upload our data sample files and then create a dashboard, or we can take a live logs file as live log data from firewalls, from web application firewall, from Linux machine, from syslog. That's possible, right? Next, inputs. Now, input is very simple information. Let's say you want to have a customized time option. So you can add a text in the dashboard. You can add a time, maybe relative time, last 24 hours time, all time, and everything. And also you can have a submit button just to make sure it get executed, right? There are two types of dashboard. One is classic, another one is the studio dashboard. Studio is more customized. There are a lot of options. It's visually rich, and classic is very old and simple to use. Okay. Finally, let's talk about what are we going to learn hands-on in this crash course. We are going to set up the Splunk dashboard for SSH monitoring from scratch, and we are going to use a SSH log file as well. So once you visit hexcam.com to work on these projects, you will get those files as well, right? Second, we are going to work on building the Splunk dashboard for web traffic, and third, we'll be building the Splunk dashboard for Cloudflare web application firewall traffic as well. I hope you're gonna enjoy it. Let's begin. Right. So this is the dashboard that we are planning to build for SSH log that can contain SSH total number of SSH log event, successful login, failed logins, connection without authentication. Then we need statistics table with possible brute force, a failed login by their username, and finally the geographical representation of all the source IP address. Right now, up from the possible brute force attack. Right now, this is my Splunk. Make sure your Splunk is ready. If you haven't set up your Splunk, you can watch my video. Or you can also go visit Hexcamp and look at Hexcamp, I mean Splunk SIM Home Lab to complete Splunk setup, or you can watch my video on YouTube as well. Okay, so both options are available. Now I'll be referring to our Hexcamp project, which is Splunk dashboard for SSH logs. I'll mention the link in the description so you can refer. We'll just gonna follow the step-by-step process mentioned in here. Okay, so we'll click on continue project, and the steps are mentioned in here clearly. Okay, now this is my Splunk dashboard. First of all, in order to create your dashboard, we have to have a log data. So go to setting. On the top you can see setting, then click on add data, and then you can upload the data. And this is where you can select, drag and drop your file, or maybe you can upload a file as well. Click on next, keep the source as it is. You can also change the host field as well. And then finally you can review. In my case it's already present, so I don't have to do it from scratch. You can find, make sure you keep the source as this one. I have kept the host machine name as Linux server, so that you can follow the entire Hexcam guide as well. So I just changed the Splunk keyword with Linux server in here. That's it. Okay, I also attached the log file. You can find the in under Hexcam. You can find the resource and download. You can download the log file from here. This is in zip file. You have to extract it. Okay, now let's go and build this entire dashboard from scratch. Okay, let's go to the search and reporting. At the end we have dashboard, then click on create a new dashboard. Set Splunk, maybe SSH logs dashboard, set as classic dashboard. Click continue. Perfect. Now let's just follow the entire guide step by step. First of all, we need a time range. Time range is very important because that gives you a reference. Based on this time range, you would be able to, modify all the data and get the relevant data as well. Okay. So let's come here. Click on add input. Go to time, and perfect. You have to click on pencil icon in here. Give a label, mention a label like time range and token as well, without any space. So I'll say time range. Perfect. Save this, and then I need a button. So submit button. That's it. When you save, this is how it looks like. Okay, now let's click the edit button again. Now first thing first, we what we need is the first section. The first task of this project is the authentication overview. In this we first require information about total number of events, right? So for this to work, total number of such events, you can actually simply copy and paste the entire query itself, or I can explain you that too. Let me copy this entire SPL query and then I'll explain you, don't worry. Next we have to add a new panel. Click on new. On the top you can see new here, right? And then click on single value, like this is where you have to select the time picker. Okay, so use time picker. In my case it's time range. You see this shared time picker, I'll select this because this is the custom time range value. Okay, mention the name. I have, you can go for total SSH. You can go with any one of them. It's just that I want to make it consistent. Okay, so this is my SPL query to get all the SSH request, okay, or SSH traffic, right? So first I have the source, which is same host name of the log file, and then source type. These are all by default. These are all default fields, okay, so nothing to do with it. Next, I have to get the total number of counts. So before we enter the query in here, let's do a quick analysis. This is my search tab, right? So before you enter anything into the dashboard panel, let's first get the idea what's the result it actually gives you, right? So stats gives you the number. I mean, stats give you the statistics. So I say stat, give me the stats count, count of all the events, as I mean, I want to change the name, so as total number of SSH events. So you see this number has been changed to total SSH event. The column name has been changed. You can see currently it is 0 is because I have taken the last range as 24 hours. You just have to select all time, press yes, and now you can see 1200. So this is perfect, right? So we can paste it in here, click on add dashboard, it's there. Okay, but you still don't see the result. It's because the logs are from the past, right? So make sure you select all time. Perfect. Now uh, we need to work on something important. You can see the result now. You can also customize this option. Okay, so you have a color option where you can select use color option in here. You can also use a block background. This is like a, just changing the font color, text color. You can also use the block background, so I'll select that and change the color from to blue. Perfect. That's it, right? So this is total SSH events, right? Now let's go to the next option, which is about successful logins. Okay, so you can see these informations are as it is. If I remove the statistics parameter, so in the SSH logs, I have multiple information. What's really, in order to get the successful events, I need to find the event types. So you can see the event types in here. I hope you can see this, right? Event types. I can click on successful SSH logs. Perfect. Now this shows me 306 events. But in the dashboard, I want this number is exactly as it is, right? So I'll use pipe stats count as, and then the what's the name, successful logins. Okay, successful logins in code. Okay, press enter. Perfect, you can see 306, same number, right? And now copy this, click on edit under dashboard, click on panel, then single value, select time range, paste your SPL query, set the content title, and then add to the dashboard. Perfect. Can you see? I can see 306. But let's make it a little better in terms of appearance, of course. I'll select the block background. Then for successful, it should be green, right? So um, I can save. So this is how it looks like, but I'll edit and let's drag it over here, right? So that's how it looks like. Perfect. Similarly, let's move to the remaining panels. I'll go a little quickly now. So I can click on edit again, add a new panel, go to new, then add a single value, failed login, right? So failed logins, select the time range, the shared value. Then you can get similarly, right? I hope I don't have to explain you again, but again, for failed login, you have an option of failed different event types. So I'll just show you all the possible events so that it would be easy for you to. So you can see, just like I have successful SSH logins, I also have failed SSH logins, right? So I get this. Again, I'll apply the stats and everything. And this is how I get the result, right? So add it, right? Now change the color a little. It's failed, right? So maybe we can make it orange or maybe red. Sorry, this not this one. Click the barcode, then set it to red and drag it to the top, save it. Awesome. Isn't it cool? Yes, it is. So let's add one more panel. Okay, so add single value, time range, right? So invalid user attempt. So these gives you the list of all the invalid user attempt, and then this information, right? So you can see, I think this is, let's find it out. For invalid user attempt, what's the event type? Multiple failed authentication, connection without authentication, right? So we have connection without authentication. I'll get it corrected. So connection without authentication, and then click on stats, count as. As means you are basically renaming it. Okay, so then enter the name of the box, name of the dashboard panel, which is 286. Copy this entire search query, come here. This has to be connection without authentication. Okay, add to the dashboard, change the color. Let's make it maybe, what do you say, orange? Yeah, let's go to orange. Save this, drag it. Perfect. Lovely. Now, next step, next task is about login activity trend. Okay, this is where we'll try to add, a login behavior, failed login by their username, and we'll be using a bar chart to represent this, right? So we'll again go back to edit, click on new. We'll go for bar chart, time range, content title as failed logins by username. If you look at the query, these informations are as it is. There's nothing new. At the end, I mean, the event type will be failed SSH logins, and we are just gathering the top username. Okay, so username is just our field name. You can see in here, username like this, right? These are all the username being used to log into our server, right? So let's copy it, paste it in here, save to the dashboard. Perfect. And next we have possible brute force. Okay, so for this we can look at the event type is multiple failed authentication attempt, and we are again using the top field as well, which is transform field. So what you can do is you can copy this field. I'll show you quickly. Okay, I'll copy this field, I'll copy this query, and I'll explain you first what exactly it is. Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, you can see this is another event type, which is multiple failed authentication attempt, which you can also find in the event type in here. Okay, and then we are going to get the top source IP address. Okay, you can see ID origin underscore host. That's our source IP address. I'll show you quickly. Okay, if you just type this, you find the ID originate, or origin means originator, port. This can underscore p represent the port number, h represent the host IP address. Similarly, I mean, responder will be destination and originator will be the source. Okay, so in this case we need to have the source IP address. So we'll say we are going to get the top, what is that, ID underscore this information, right? So we'll just copy it quickly, go to the dashboard. Are we in the dashboard? Oh no, we are not. Okay, okay, so to create the possible brute force, we'll have to add a new panel. We'll click on new. Then this is a statistics table, I guess. Yeah, correct. Go to share time range, paste the query, set the name as possible brute force address, paste this, and add to the dashboard, right? Now let's drag and drop in here, not this. Oops, like this. Yeah, perfect. Like this. Okay, it's done. Right. This is perfect. Now at the bottom, we need to add a new table, new panel, which is geographical table. We'll use the choropleth map, and under this, we want to visualize the all the source IP address, possible brute force source IP address based on geographical map. Okay, so this is the query we are going to use. Okay, you can also see the in this query the event type is multiple failed authentication attempt. Now I think you know it, how to get the event type. You can see from here, and the table means you want to see all the source IP address in the form of table. Then you are gathering the IP location, which is the command in the SPL query, in build query. Just like table top stats, IP location is also an option. So we say get the IP address or the IP location of all the source IP address, then count them by their country, and then we'll be using a geom command to get the country field. It's a data structure. We are going to list them with their country name. Okay, so let's copy this. Okay, you can also find the result in here as well, and you can visualize in a different format. Let's say I can go for, you see this option. Perfect. Choropleth, right? Similarly, we can paste it in here. We'll say what's the name we are going for. Okay, brute force attack with geolocation. Brute force attack with geolocation. Perfect. Let's add it to the table. Awesome. Let's save this. Awesome. Can you see this? This is the final dashboard that we want to have. Thank you so much for watching. So this is the project Splunk dashboard for web traffic, which is Apache server logs. You can see the prerequisite, and this is the dashboard that we are going to build. Okay. In order to join, you can just click on Continue Project. All right, so you get the step-by-step guide to copy and paste simply. But I would highly recommend you, or it's very important to match the source file. Okay, where can you get this file? Basically, this is the sample log. Once you download this, this will be a zip file. Okay, once you extract, remember the name of the file and the source name will be same. So in case you have a different file name like bracket or something, make sure you match it. Okay, now this is my Splunk SIM, and make sure you first set this up. You can watch the home lab as well to set up your own Splunk first. Okay, now before we add any panel, you have to make sure the search query gives you some result. Okay, so in this case, let's say I just enter this. I have 2000 events with this specific source file name. This is the name of the file. Okay, host name and source types as well, right? Now remember one thing. Well, the most important thing is to make sure you understand what is the Apache server logs. So I'll just give you an idea. This is the Apache server logs format. This is one log which consists of a client IP address and timestamp, request detail if the user sent the get request or post request. Because remember, this is HTTP traffic, right? So Apache is the web application. So it capture all the HTTP related traffic. If 200 is the response code, response size, referrer, browser info, and everything. It's client browser info. Okay, so we'll be using that. So just keep an eye on it. First of all, let's create a dashboard. So you can click on dashboard. Make sure you keep two tabs open. One for verifying if the you get the correct result through your search and reporting tab. Second, you can go to the dashboard, click on new dashboard, type Apache logs dashboard, something like this, and then click on classic dashboard, press create. First thing first, you have to create a time range. Okay, because with that you can customize, you can get the result accordingly. Because in our case, it's a past log, so you have to use it. We'll be using time. Go to pencil icon, modify it like time range, and this can be time underscore range. Save it, add an input so that you can submit the data. It's done. Once you click on save, this is how it looks. Perfect. Let's edit it, add a new panel, maybe single value. Okay, first thing, we need web activity overview of all the traffic. So we want the all the total web request in the network, right, in the logs. So use a time picker. You see something here, use a time picker. This is the reference time reference value. Okay, so we have created a time range, the shared time picker. Select that, and this is where you need to use your query. Remember, very very important, otherwise you won't see the result. In your case, if you have a different log file, make sure you do that. Okay, and before we before we make that possible, remember, in order to add a data, click on setting, click on add data, then go to upload, and then simply drag and drop the file I gave you here, right? And that's all you have to do. Don't worry. You can extract and add the file, and you will see the results. Okay. Next, next. Yeah. So next we have to copy this. This should give us the entire total number of web requests on our server. Okay. Remember, this is just a file name. Source is your file name. Host is the when you upload the data, you get an option to specify the host. You can specify, you can enter any number, and source type. These are all default fields, so you don't have to do anything into it. Once you enter the default field like this, you see, go to search and reporting, get this. Now if I want to see all the requests, I can just say stats count. This will give me all the counts. You see this, change the time range to all time. Yes, 2000 counts. But I want to see the result with some time, with some different name, right? You see, the currently the count column name is count. I want to make it total request, total web request, right? What is this? Total web request. Yeah, perfect. You see this? Now let's copy it. Come here, paste it, add to the dashboard, and it's not gonna show you the result. Why? The answer is time. Okay, submit. Awesome. Can you see this? Let me quickly start adding few more data for successful response. Okay, so I'll be little fast now. Click on add panel, go to single value, time range, and then successful response, and then almost the same request. Remember, the logic is, for successful response, http send 200. Okay, that's a status code. Okay, for issue from the server side, 400 or 500 error. So these are all http response, right? A user send the request, either is a get request or a post. If you want to download the web content on your web page, you send the get request to the server. If you want to submit some data like login name or email id or password, you use post request. Okay, similarly, when the web server need to acknowledge, it might acknowledge with a different response code. It can be 200, which is perfect, right? Then it can be 300, it can be 400, 500. So every code has a specific significance. Okay, in our case, for successful response, 200 is good. Okay, so we can enter that. I'll explain you, don't worry about it. Even if you don't use this entire query, enter, you will find the method option like get request, right? Because this is a get request. No, we have all of them. So give me 1 second. Yeah, so there has to be a response code somewhere. A response code, oh, it's status. Yeah, can you see the status, which is 200? So I'll select this 200 over here. That's it, that's all we need. Let's use a pipe, then let's count it, count as successful successful response, right? Copy this. Perfect. 1168, right? Come here, paste it, add to the dashboard. It's done. I can drag it to, yeah, somewhere here. Let's go for the next response, which is 400, which gives you all the information, client error information. So I'll copy it, uh, and yeah, I'll copy it, and then let's create a new panel. Go to single value, time range, say client errors, paste it here. The client error status code can be anything, but anything in 400 range. Okay, so that's why I have said, I have entered a condition where the exact logs, you see the source, host, source type, with a condition saying where the status code is greater than or equal to 400 and less than 500. Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, and again, finally, once we get the result, then I want to get a exact count of it. Okay, so this comes to 376. Perfect. Let's copy it, come to the dashboard, enter, add to the dashboard. Perfect. Let's bring it to up. Perfect. Next, we have server errors. Okay, copy it, um, add a panel, new, single value, time range, server error. Let's copy it. Let's see if we get the results. This time it is okay. I think there is a mistake. Server error will be of 500 range. Okay, so this is a mistake. I'll get it corrected. But in meanwhile, remember, status should be anything greater than 500. That's the correct answer. Okay, perfect. Can you see 90, right? Let's copy it, paste it in here, add to the dashboard, drag it. Perfect. Let's save it, see how it looks. Perfect. It looks awesome. You can change the color a little. I want to change this to maybe blue. Okay, so I'll change this color. Okay, you can press yes, click on block background, change this red to blue. It's done. Go to color, yes, block, successful. Let's make it green. Color, yes, block. Client error, change it to maybe yellow. And this is the server error, right? So let's make it orange. Awesome. Okay, now next part is web statistics. So we'll get a quick summary of web statistics. First is the top requested URI. So what are the top requested URI directory or pages being accessed? Okay, so URI is specific path. Okay, so again, let's add a panel, but this time we'll be using a bar chart. Okay, so let's go for edit, add a panel, go to bar chart, yes, set the time range, top URI request. Then let's copy it and let's verify the query once. Okay, you can see this is the our default fields. Now we want to get all the URI count. Okay, so I'll show you quickly. Basically, in our all the interesting field, we already have URI. You see this here. We just want to get the we want to get top URI in a way. You can also do it like this by top URI. This will give you the top URI directly, okay, without any issue. I have used this option. I have used this option. You can see stats count as hits by URI, but you can also go with this, right? So add to dashboard. Perfect. Can you see this? So there are different options for getting the same results. You can use the top. You can also use table, but table is won't give you the result properly. Okay. So and remember one thing in here, you also get a exact detail like count and everything. So this is very useful. You can see all the specific URI detail, private data, forbidden pages, secret admin, and when you click on it, you get the exact count of data, count of request as well. 206 on top. Then next you have 197, 107, and everything. So this is perfect. I'm just giving you an example. There are multiple ways. With the stats also, you can get a number. Stats by count as means you're renaming the column name, right, by hits, just the way we have done before, like client error and everything. And then we are arranging it by URI. Okay, URI is our interesting field. Next, let's go for top users by IP address. So let's add a new panel now, and this time let's go for area, maybe column chart. Okay, so let's go for time range, enter this, copy this query, which is stats count as IP by IP. Because remember, all of our in our interesting field again in the Splunk, you can see the IP address, right? These are all the client IP address. So I can get those detail with the IP address as well, right? Perfect. Can you see this? I can copy it, come here, paste it in here, add to dashboard. Perfect. Let's make it here. Yeah, perfect. It looks good now. So yeah, so probably 60% of our work is done. Let's add our last dashboard panel, which is Coroplath. This is where we'll be adding, uh, data in geographical way. Okay, so let's add a new, a new panel. Come here, edit panel, Coroplath, time range, and then in here, this is the query we are going to use. Okay, the idea is to get the web traffic by client IP address and their location. Okay, so this is the query we are going to use. So you can see we are going to see all the query where the method is get, and we are going to arrange it with the IP address, their client IP address, and with their IP address, we'll be applying another command which is for IP location to get their IP location, okay, their geolocation, and then we are going to get the count for each country, and then finally we'll be applying a geom command to get the country with the field ID country. Okay, when you hit enter, you get the data. Let's visualize it. Let's go for Coroplath. Yeah, perfect. Can you see the results? Brilliant. Finally, let's enter here, add to dashboard. Let's see if something happens. Yes, we can see the country 384 and then Canada 805. Let's save it. Awesome. It's done. Thank you so much for watching. Right, so welcome everyone. In this video, we are going to set up a custom Splunk dashboard using Cloudflare logs. Cloudflare is a very popular web application firewall that is used to protect the web application from different web-based attack like SQL injection, cross-site scripting attack, file upload attack, or GraphQL attacks. So once you create the custom dashboard on Splunk, this will help your SOC analyst to respond to different attacks based on suspicious web traffic or bot IP addresses, or as I said, OAuth's top 10 vulnerability based attacks as well. All right, so without taking much time, let's start building the dashboard. All right, so let's start building our custom dashboard. You can find this is the project on hexcam.com. Splunk dashboard for Cloudflare logs, and continue to the project, and you will find the step-by-step guide here. Okay, make sure you first finish your Splunk SIEM home lab project, which is the home lab project. First we have to set up the time read, and before I do that, let me show you what exactly our goal is. Our goal is to build the dashboard like this, where we have request, URI, top users by IP address and their geolocation. Okay, so let's come to the dashboard. Under the apps, we have dashboard option. Click on create a new dashboard. I'll say Cloudflare WAF dashboard. Okay, and then we can click on classic dashboard, right? You can keep your step-by-step guide on the next tab. Click first add the input, so time, then submit button. We need to add our time range. The label will be time range, and then we'll have to give a token, right? So that will be time range. Okay, let's apply. Next, we need to add panels. So let's add a single value because we need to add specify web activity. So you can copy this immediately, and make sure you have a search tab open. From here you can enter the request where source is the this log file. And one more thing, because this is not a real time logs we are fetching from Cloudflare, so I created a sample log file for you from the Cloudflare itself. So you can download that a sample log file from here, and then you can go to your Splunk dashboard. From here, you can click on setting, click on add data. This is where you can upload the data. Make sure you specify the host properly. In my case, the host name is Splunk. Okay, no, I think in my case the Splunk, yeah, host is Splunk and source file is this. In your case, if it is different, you can customize it, modify it, because that's how I created the query as well. So copy this, hit enter, click on search, and see if you are getting any events, right? So yes, we can see 2000. So if you see some answer coming in, response coming in, then you can come here and enter the data. Time range, this is the total request coming into the web application firewall. Okay, paste it here, select the time range because that's the relative time value, right? Click add to dashboard, change the time range to all time because these are all past logs, not the real time logs. So submit. Perfect, you can see this. Next, let's go for the next, which is successful response, right? So I will close this, and let's add a new single value. Single value successful response time picker. Copy this, paste it in here. This will, you can see the source type. This data is exactly the same. It's just that status code is 200. In HTTP, for every successful response, the status code is 200. That means okay. Okay, this is sent by the web server to the client machine. So status is 200. Now then we want to count the total number of to successful response. So you can use this stats, can count it as 200 response, right? Add to the dashboard. Perfect, let's drag it up. Perfect. Next, we need to have WAF challenges. So web application firewall is made to protect your website from any possible attacks, right? So this basically WAF sits in between client and the web server, right? So whenever you send any request to the website, it first processed by the web application firewall, and if it is clean, then it will be forwarded to the website to process and send you the response, right? So in order to secure your website, it might send some challenges like to verify if you are a bot or a human. So you might have seen those widget where, or where it asks you prove that you are a human, right? So you have to use some puzzles, you have to go through some puzzles and everything. These are called challenges. So I can use this queries to understand the number of challenge. So you can see the WAF action is challenge, and then we count that. It's that simple. So let's copy this, add a single value, right? And then WAF challenge, time range, perfect. Let's drag it up, perfect. Now next is WAF block. If the web application firewall understand that this is the suspicious or malicious traffic, it might block those requests. So let's add this WAF block. You can copy this request from here, paste it here. You can see just the WAF action was changed. WAF is basically a request. You can see I'll remove this. You can find the WAF action is in field in the Cloudflare, right? So on the left, you must see WAF action somewhere. You see this log, blog, or challenge, right? We copied it. Let's add to the dashboard. Perfect. Let's keep it right. Perfect. Now the next step is we need to, you can skip this one maybe for now. And next we require web statistics, right? So we first need the top requested URIs on the website. URI is the complete directory in the URL path, right? So we'll go for a bar chart maybe, and top URI, pick the data, and this is the entire URI where we count the entire request hits by URI, right? So even if you look at the entire Splunk, entire Cloudflare logs, you must see URI. These are all the URIs on the website, right? So we'll copy this, come here, paste it in here, and then we are just going to count it. Let's add to the dashboard. Perfect. Can you see that these are all the URIs requested by the users? Next, we need top users by IP address, right? Top requesting users. So we'll go for probably maybe let's start with the bar chart and let's see how it goes. Yeah. And then use this exact query. It's just that we count by the origin IP address, means the user IP address. Let's save this. We can change the style maybe by this. Okay, perfect. Let's keep it in here. Yes, perfect. Finally, we need the geolocation. So click on new panel, replet, and then here time range. And this is where, if you look at this query closely, you will see this. These are all default value. It's just that you can also add the method as well, which could be get request. The table, we want to get the entire detail by the table with the client IP address. I can show you that too. Um, you see this? These are all client IP address. Then we want to get the IP location of the client IP address. Then we are going to get the stats based on their country, and we are going to use geom function to visualize the data in the geolocation manner, right? And then the web traffic by client IP location. Perfect. Let's add it. It's done. It's done. It's all based on geolocation. Awesome. Let's try and change the color to make it look better. Perfect. Click on this color. For successful response, let's make it green. For challenge, let's make it maybe orange. And for block, make it red. Awesome. Let's save this. Beautiful. Wonderful. It's done. Let me know if you have any question. I would love to answer that.